Hey, what's up you guys? Today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys our most recent trip we just took to New York, and we went to the House of Glory show, Jamaica Queens, and we also got to meet Alberto and Paige. So I'm gonna start this story off with the fact that we had to drive 6.5 hours to New York, which if you've never driven in New York, like me and Patrick both have never driven in New York, it is crazy. You get there, it is already like 5:30. You have to be there, like the doors start opening up at 6 or 6:30. The hotel that we booked did not have a public parking area for the people, which I didn't know about that, or I probably would have not have chose that one. So we had to find parking in New York, which is... So we find the parking and we park maybe like a 10-minute walk from our car, kind of in a sketchy area. So like we were making sure we had everything we needed. We weren't trying to go back there. We're not gonna try to go back there for sure. Then get into the hotel room, and I booked the room maybe like 2 weeks prior, but you have to pay when you get there. From Virginia to New York, it's like, Virginia to New York, it's probably like $40 to $50 in just tolls. So I only had enough money in cash just for tolls. So we get there, the guy tells me that their card machine's broke, and I'm thinking, geez, that's all I have. Somehow I didn't see it, but there was an ATM right behind me. So that was quickly averted. Wasn't a problem like I thought it was gonna be. The good thing is the venue was only like a 5-minute walk from our hotel, which was great, so we could walk there. So waiting in line, it probably takes like, I don't know, 25, 30 minutes of us actually being there. You got to choose anywhere. Realistically, you could have sat anywhere. They were only checking if you had wristbands, and if you had wristbands on, that means that you either paid for the front row, the second row, or the third row. So it was kind of like you kind of got to sit wherever, but I wasn't trying to take any risks. So we found 2 seats. They were third row. They were pretty, decent seats. You could see the ring and everything like that. So then we start hearing them talking over the intercom, and they say that, Alberto El Patron, which is Alberto Del Rio for some of you guys, was doing a signing that was on stage to your left. So I was looking up there and I was like, I wonder if I go up there, if I didn't know if it was like for VIP people only or if you had to pay something to go up there. Line was really long at first. I kind of wanted to do it, but then I was like, I didn't know if you had to be a certain, if you had to be a VIP or whatever, so I didn't go up there the first time. So, halfway through the show, they do an intermission. It's so crazy, we were starving, okay? And the venue only had 4 options for food. They had, let me try to remember that. They had beef patties, they had hot dogs, they had like, I don't know, it was only 4 options. Like there was no french fries, there was none of that. I think the club was like an Indian type or maybe like a Spanish type club, so the food that they had was that. So it was like beef patties and I'm drawing a blank. I can't think of what the other one. So it was hot dogs, beef patties, and then 2 other items, and they had like little bags of Doritos. So I got us 2 hot dogs and I got 2 bags of the Doritos. That's kind of all we ate. While we were there, they didn't really have a whole lot. They were calling for a second intermission. And again, Alberto was signing on that same stage. This time, I noticed and I spotted puffball on Paige's hat, which it sounds so weird, but the last time that I met her, she was like, I want to say maybe a little bit different, but she was wearing like almost the exact same hat. So when I see her, I'm starting to get so excited because definitely like, she's fucking awesome, obviously. Again, like I didn't know if you had to pay or if you had to be VIP or whatever it was. So I like walk up on to the steps of where the stage are, and then I see Alberto, and then lo and behold, I see Paige sitting right next to him. And like a security guard comes up to me and he's like, it's gonna be like 30 or I think he said like $35, and I think it was you get to take a picture with Alberto or whatever. And I was like, okay, so I'm just gonna go pay the $35 to do it just so I get to have that experience. So don't have any more cash on me. So they were like, oh, there's the ATM, you know, on the other side. So we had to travel through all these people, and then, what do you know, the ATM is out of order. So I'm sitting here pissed off thinking that, damn, that might have been my only chance for her, like for me to meet her again and to meet Alberto and, you know, all that. I go back up onto the stairs and Paige sees me and she waves me and then tells me to come over, and I'm sitting here like, about 10, 15 feet away from Paige, okay? So I'm like, you know, so excited because, you know, I've met her past times, but, you know, they've been in WWE or they've done for Comic-Con. In my head, I thought, you know, this might be a more cool experience because she doesn't have, you know, WWE security like all on top of her, and she's able to have more time to be able to talk. So she calls me over there. She is the coolest with her fans. Like, when she knows that you are a fan of her, or even Alberto. He was so cool. She starts talking to me and she's like, you know, where's your hubby at? Like, where's your fiance? And Patrick was just gonna let me do it because he knew that was like, he knows that I like love wrestling so much, and I think Paige is so awesome. So he wasn't going to try to be a part of that, only because he didn't want, you know, either her to feel overwhelmed or, you know, like the security guard, you know, type of situation. But she like insisted that I go get him. I go get Patrick, and like I said, I'm like freaking out at this moment. So like when I go get him, and she's just so cool. She's talking to us about our engagement, you know, all this stuff. It was just so cool to me that I'm like a fan of hers, but she still like, she remembers and she talks about, you know, stuff to Alberto about us, stuff like that. I've supported her from day one, so it's so cool to have that connection with somebody that you look up to so much. So, you know, we're talking to her a little bit, and Alberto is so cool. I don't care what anybody says. So they were sitting at a table and he was signing stuff still. Like, people were paying to come up and to get him to sign stuff. Being as cool as he was like, you know what, why don't you guys just sit? And there was like a giant speaker box on top of the stage, and that's where Paige was. I think initially she was sitting in a chair, but he was like, why don't you guys just come over here and sit here? You know, you can talk to her, stuff like that. Again, I'm sitting here like a loss for words because I never thought like that would happen in itself. So, you know, I think it's getting to like the end of Alberto, you know, with the people coming up and taking pictures and stuff like that. So, you know, he's sitting there for a little bit and he's talking to us, and, you know, it's definitely, it was like a awesome experience. Like, I thought that was it. I thought that was the experience was gonna be over. I was so freaking happy. We took a couple pictures, which I'm gonna put in the video. I was so excited and then so lost for words that I can't even remember what I said, only because I was freaking out inside so much. Alberto's about done doing his signing. Another great thing happened. Paige was like, hey, you know, I'm gonna be out there watching his match. His match was the last match on the card, and he went against Low-Key, and they had like a fantastic match. But she was like, I don't know where you guys are sitting, but I'm gonna be sitting in the front row if you guys want to come sit with me. Literally freaking out inside. Like, I think I instantly, when I was done, when she made that known, like, oh, you guys come sit with me, we kind of like split off on our separate ways. They went, you know, in the backstage area. I literally was calling my mom. I literally was freaking out. It comes to Alberto's match. Paige comes out. She comes, I think they had like a separate way for Alberto and her because she came from the opposite stage, and that's like where Alberto came out of his entrance, was a stage, and she's coming out with the security guard, and all these people like are like pointing like, oh my god, there's Paige, like just freaking out, which they should be. She sits down and she's got a huge bodyguard with her, like following her, making sure nobody messes with her or anything like that. So I see her again, and she makes eye contact with me, and she tells me to come here. So I go over there, and she's like, there's 2 chairs that had stuff in it, and she was just like, just sit here. And I was kind of like, well, I don't want to, you know, when Paige tells you to do something, you should just do it. You shouldn't really care about what the consequences may be because she's Paige. You know, let me go find 2 chairs and I'll bring them over. So she was like, yeah. So I literally was looking for chairs in that place because I was about to be sitting next to the greatest women's champion, divas champion, whatever you want to call her, the greatest female superstar in WWE. I'm like trying to find chairs and I just tell Patrick, I'm like, just chillax for a second. I'm gonna go find the chairs. So I'm like trying to find chairs and everybody is sitting in all of the chairs. Like there are no chairs. So I go up on the stage where Alberto and Paige had their sign, or not Paige, but Alberto had his signing, and there was a couple chairs up there. So I got both chairs, I picked them up, walked down off the stage area and grabbed those chairs and literally put them like right in front of other people. But like I said, those 2 chairs, nobody was sitting in them. It was just, they had like bags in them. So I don't know if those people were also just like, you know, our seats, we're just gonna stand up. Plopped our chairs right there and I don't know, it was just like the coolest thing. She was so sweet, she's so kind, she's all of what you think that she is. She's literally the nicest person. No other, you know, she didn't have to do that. She didn't have to, you know, she had already met me up on the stage. She didn't have to do those things. I think that's why I really respect her on that level because her fans are so dedicated that she knows that, for sure, she knows that. She definitely cares about her fans. So it was freaking awesome. She stood the whole match. She filmed Alberto. It was the cutest thing ever. So, you know, I didn't want to invade her more because I was already being allowed to sit next to her. I did not want to, she was standing up, she was recording Alberto. I felt like, you know what, she just traveled from the UK all the way to New York on a 9 a.m. flight and got here when the show was happening. So, you know, I get she misses her man. I wasn't trying to interfere with any of that type of stuff. But no, it was really cute. She recorded, you know, his whole match and was on her feet the whole time. Just very supportive, which is awesome to see. So at the end of the match, Alberto wins and he, you know, jumps over the railing and Paige and her bodyguard are carrying them. And before this happens, you know, I know that's the end of Alberto's match. Like, I know it's gonna be over. Like, you know, so I was like, hey, can I just get one more hug, you know, before we leave? You know, and she did, and she gave us the hug or whatever. So that is exactly, you know, right after we did that, Alberto jumped over the railing and her and her bodyguard were carrying him. But, you know, I was happy. I was good. If that was all it was gonna be, I was so grateful for that experience that I had. Then, as she's walking with Alberto, like carrying him, she like, I'm just looking at him. I'm just like so excited, so happy. When I'm looking, she like nods her head over. So I'm like, oh my God, me? Like I didn't know what was going on. So I follow her as she's carrying Alberto and stuff, and I'm talking the amount of people. Once it was realized that, like, not everybody knows when Alberto goes somewhere, like Paige is injured, so she usually goes with him on the road. You know, only reason I know that is because, like, I bought those tickets because I was going to New York, and I wanted to see Alberto. I wanted to meet Paige again. Like, and I've never been to, like, an indie show like that. And House of Glory is just freaking awesome. They're so awesome. All the wrestlers, everything was so great. So let me go back to my story now. I'm getting a little bit off track. She nods to me and we go through all of these people. People were, you know, asking her, just like, I don't know. She was there to watch Alberto, and, you know, I get people want to take pictures with her and stuff like that, but I feel like that's another thing, just like I said, like, even though I was sitting next to her, I wasn't trying to invade, you know, what she had going on. Like, she was there to support Alberto. You know, she was recording and standing up, cheering, all that stuff. But we go back to where their locker room was. It was where they would exit. She's talking to me again. She's like, you know, just saying, hey, you know, thank you guys so much for, you know, driving all this way and just, you know, just being such a sweetheart and saying all these nice things. you know, and I talk to her about, you know, me making the gear for her mom, and then I throw it out there. I'm like, hey, let me make a wrestling gear for you, please. You know, let me give that a shot. And she was like, oh my gosh, yeah, you know, for sure, like make me one. And I was like, I didn't know what else to do at that point. I was so happy. So we gave her another hug, and you know, she was like, you know, you guys make sure you drive home safe, like all this. Yeah, we split apart at that point, and literally walking back to the hotel room, I was so excited, like just head over heels. Like it was a 6-hour drive, like was so worth it. The day before the event, she was in the UK, so I wasn't sure if she was gonna be at the wrestling show, so I was like kind of bummed about that. But then, you know, Surya told me that, you know, she had left for the flight at 9 a.m. So I was like, ah, yes, I was so excited to be able to meet her again and talk to her again, you know, on a different level than before. So yeah, guys, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next video.
I don't think so, because what mis amigos, what my friends in Queens are saying is Spanish, and it goes like this: We are perros! We are perros!